You're listening to Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt.
Hey, I'm Joey.
I'm Wes.
I'm Brian. Welcome to episode
60
of Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt. It's a podcast where we talk about playing bikes.
We're halfway to Brian's age now.
Yeah. Joining us a little later in this podcast is Matt Hawkins, the event director of the Croatan Buck 50. So he's coming to join us tonight.
He's coming to ravish our last episode.
Yes, he's coming here to give everyone an update on course conditions and things that you may need to know before race day. And boy, do we have questions after last week.
I heard he's bringing it down half mile by half mile.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, he's gonna do stone by stone, the gravel piece by
no
gravel.
pebble left unturned.
Do we have any feedback about that? It sounded very boring after we listened to
I
it.
saw some feedback that said people really loved the podcast, that they skipped right over that section and they enjoyed thoroughly the rest of it. So give me a break. Give me a break.
We don't have Kit Kats.
Did you guys know that today is Fat Tuesday?
I thought that was next week.
No,
Oh, yeah, we
today.
should have went to a pancake supper and recorded the night.
Today. Happy Fat Tuesday. We're recording on Tuesday, so by Thursday, everybody's like all quieted down.
What's the deal with Fat Tuesday?
Fat Tuesday is the day before you give up everything for Lent.
Oh, we're not religious. We're
That's
not allowed to
Ash
talk about
Wednesday.
religion on our podcast.
I mean, Fat Tuesday is culture.
Separation
pop
of
culture.
podcast
Yeah,
and
podcast and
culture.
state.
And it's also the day that it's okay to eat all the fast knot that you can come up with in massive quantities. You guys know what that is?
Was it Fast Knot in Star Wars?
Fast knot is the wonderful potato donut-like pastry that was made popular here in the States by the Pennsylvania Dutch.
I thought that was a Polish thing.
It's like a little donut thing.
Yeah, it's a part of it's a
sugar.
Polish thing. My dad sent me some last week.
It was their way to use up all of the large sugar, fat, and butter that are those good things that are forbidden during Lent.
The tempting
So they would
temptations.
They would cook it all up the day before and stuff themselves with it. You know, there's little like Pennsylvania Dutch kids that were hiding them underneath their beds.
Just squirreling them away.
Yes,
Little hair sticking out of things.
absolutely. So happy Fat Tuesday, everybody.
Every
I'm
Tuesday's
fat every
Fat
day.
Tuesday.
I was going to get some donuts and bring them tonight just to do that. What's going on in the land of Patreon and PayPal, Joey?
Some doofus from West Virginia. Oh, Travis Olson. Travis pinged in during. Actually, I don't know if I sent Travis a sticker pack for that yet. A double, triple sticker pack. I need to message him.
We should do double wide sticker packs.
He gets a lot of stickers. A lot of stickers are coming your way, Travis.
I'm just gonna message him. Travis came in during our recording last week. He is our first triple nipple sticker pack recipient. Remember, if you happen to pledge during the time of our recording, you might get that sticker back. I've actually been super on top of getting everyone's stuff out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I will message him before I double up.
I'm hoping that more people will try to jump on that bandwagon.
Yeah.
Jump on the multi-sticker.
So
Do it right now, people.
I don't know. Did you see?
It doesn't work that way.
Oh, man.
It was. I mean, I was a little mashed up last episode at the end.
Yeah, let's
when
talk
Ted,
about that. Good
when
grief.
Ted from PA, like Keep It Casual Racing, actually did send us a message during the podcast for a shout out.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I just
So it
I was
wasn't
a little mashed up.
it wasn't just
Travis.
So Travis and Ted both,
Yeah,
because it was confusing to me.
It was confusing because I didn't see the one from Ted, but
was
I got the
confusing.
one from Travis.
it was on Instagram.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay. And you're not on history. How would you have seen that?
my histogram is gone.
Yeah.
So
Even though you had a computer out, which you don't have out tonight.
Nope.
What happened?
I don't know. I just
Just
feel
a
like bringing it
one-time
down.
wonder?
Yeah.
Okay.
we had a T-shirt sale.
Yes.
Andrew from Philly, both a T-shirt and a sticker pack. So I do remember giving you the sticker packs.
Yep.
For that before you left.
And that is out the door.
She gone, and then a sticker fan pack from Jeff from Sandwich, Illinois. We've gotten a lot of Illinois stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of Illinois. I got hold on.
Uh-oh.
Our
What
boys
are you
from
doing?
Illinois, Don and Brad, sent us 2 packs of Left Hand Stout.
Delicious,
peanut
too.
buttermilk stout.
And they sent their note on the back of a combos box.
Left Hand Brewing and peanut buttermilk stout. Yeah, this came in the mail.
What did they write?
It says, "Dear GTD, hope you all enjoy these beers. Keep up the awesome podcast. Don, Brad, love you, bye.
Nice. I have broken
Thanks,
training
guys.
tonight.
I'm saving this.
And I am full on enjoying a left-hand peanut butter milk stout, and it is delicious.
Delicious.
They're good.
It is really good.
So I appreciate the love from everyone.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
I don't know how to explain the life of being famous to Jessica every time when I keep getting stuff,
And I brought the
And we got this in the mail.
The goo care package that Tanya over at Rothrock Grint sent us, full of all things goo-licious.
Yep.
And a little note that said, "Here's do a nutrition plan, Brian." And but I'm sharing all of the love because
Sharon's caring.
If I tried to consume all of those goo products, that would be funny.
Your bib shorts would be gross.
So I snagged a few things out of there, and lots of gels and protein bars and shot blocks and stickers and all kinds of stuff straight from goo. So thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Rothrock Grit.
Thank you.
That is awesome.
There's
And
only
it'll
like
be very
25 more female spots left to fill up Rothrock.
It's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. Let's see. We also got. I want to do this. Congratulations to Dale Fogg for being selected as the Grusk entry winner. So you guys remember?
Yeah.
Travis talked about doing this when he was on the podcast a couple weeks ago. He did a giveaway where someone was selected at random, but they needed to be a member of both the Grusk and the GTD Strava Club. And I watched the video that Travis posted, and I thought he was going to have to go a lot longer than he did, because he would pick a random number, go to his Strava Club, find who it was, and then go over to ours and see if they were also there. And the first one he did, that guy
Was it
wasn't
your
there.
daughter?
No, he wasn't there. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is going to be a long video. And it was the second one. So Dale Fogg, again, congratulations. And if you're listening, Dale, drop us a DM on your social place of choice with your mailing address, and we want to send you some stickers too.
We love you, Dale.
We want to send you a little bit of sticker love. And we're looking forward to meeting you at Grusk, because I will be there. Joe, you're going to be there, right? You doing Grusk?
I don't know. You keep thinking I'm going to Grusk, and I don't
keep
ever
thinking
remember
you're
saying I was
going
going
to
to
Grusk.
Grusk. I would love to go to Grusk.
I can't remember the schedule, the concert schedule for what gravel events we're doing. I don't know. So again, congratulations, Dale. That was pretty cool to watch.
Nice work.
And that's that. So we've already spilled the beans on what we're drinking, except for you, Wes. What have you got in front of you?
Well, I'm getting acclimated to Michigan since I'm moving next week. Yeah.
Well, finally.
Yeah, it's about time. Long time coming. Anyway, I'm having a Founders, and it is a Mas Agave, which basically tastes like a margarita bottle.
That's delicious.
It is an imperial lime goose style ale brewed with aged agave and tequila barrels.
That's good.
And I happened to find this joy. I did a kayak paddle yesterday,
Right.
and I was digging for some beer in his fridge, and I found this, and there were two of them, and it's super good.
Nice.
Very happy with it.
So tell us about you guys went for a paddle yesterday.
I went for a pedal.
Joey went for a bike ride on the water.
It was actually more workout than I thought.
Yeah, it is.
It was super windy yesterday, too.
We were going up so we launched from the house. We went up the creek, and at the time we were going into a headwind. So I was like, "Cool, I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna have a
Drift
nice
back home.
yeah, cool." I took a beer with me, and I went pretty far. I went all the way to the back of Mill Creek.
Wow, that's a long ways.
Past Durham Marina until I couldn't pedal no more.
Wes, did you go that far too?
No, I was in like a little short 10-foot boat that I actually had to paddle.
And no, it was fun. It was nice getting out. I was working a fly fishing festival with paddleboards in the kayak. So I was like, oh, it's still in my truck. I want to go out and pedal it.
Nice.
So it's a pedal drive system from Native Kayaks. So you sit down in a seat, and it drops down like a trolling motor, and there's a square taper bottom bracket sticking through a whole drive shaft system and some cranks on there. And it was a lot harder than I thought to go as far as I did, because I was cranking. The wind shifted on the way back, and I had to crank to catch up to Wes.
When Joey floated a little or went further up the creek, I found an area where there's a sailboat that had fallen off of a dry dock thing.
Nice.
So I was sitting there looking at it, and then I just stopped and I would float. I must have paddled back to my original spot 3 or 4 times, waiting for Joey to come back. Because the wind was so strong. Yeah.
I should have Stravad it, because
I was going to ask you. That was my follow up. Was did you Strava it?
No, my legs felt like I finished the bike ride though.
My boat's a paddle boat.
Yeah,
or paddle boat.
Yeah.
Boat. Just like it's an old.
It's an awesome fishing tool.
Yeah, they're amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I think
mine. It's a workout. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, I think because I was 100% pedaling the whole time versus, if I was fishing that, I'd have little breaks and stuff here and there. So it'd be different.
Yeah.
No, it was nice. And it just got windy and I got tired.
Nobody fell in the water?
No.
Good.
I barely got wet at all.
I was worried about you
I was
guys.
soaked because paddling is inefficient.
Well, I rode my bike yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I'm logging the miles, getting ready for Croatan. And now my loose goal, we were talking about this yesterday, my loose goal was to have 100,000 or have 1,000 miles on the bike headed into Croatan. And I think I'm going to make it. I think I'm like sitting right around 900 and some change right now. So
Dang.
I feel good.
You're moving.
I feel good that I'll hit that mark, and hopefully that'll do the trick. But I feel pretty good going into Croatan. So
Yeah, that is good.
So
900 miles this year. Man, you were.
Yeah, and I'd say probably half of it's outdoors.
Yeah.
Half of it's outdoors.
That's
half
really.
of it's
We've
on
had an awesome winter.
Well,
Yes.
I would
Yeah.
say half of it's indoors.
Yeah, half full, half empty.
Yeah.
Strava Club, Joey.
Dude, this is a 10%
We've had a
beer.
big week in Strava
Well,
Club.
I didn't do my weekly catch up.
Oh, I thought your that was.
That was like minute 1 out of 80.
Oh, we'll go. I'll sit there quietly and drink my peanut butter milk.
No, I just wanted to say that at the show, I had my canteen, my Yeti thing on the table with our stickers.
Right.
And I had multiple people ask me to buy the Grateful Dead one.
Nice.
I was like, I didn't even think about bringing them. I was like, hey, here's our site. If you remember to go to it, you probably won't.
I'm waiting for the
I could have sold
copyright
multiple of
infringement
those.
to come in on that.
So many people do redo that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. The worrier in me,
It happens.
the adult in the room.
I never got sued from the National Park Service, so that's all right.
They'll be all right.
Yeah, you'd be fine. Now you went to Shimano.
Oh,
today.
yeah, I did. I did
you
go to
did
a
a bike
Shimano
thing
club.
today.
Yeah, I did actual bike thing.
Nah.
I went out to Dulles today for a Shimano Tech Clinic that I think I spent more time driving than learning. I learned some. Like it was, there's parts of it.
It's a long ways over there.
Well, it was a little over 3 hours because of traffic going out.
Yeah.
And like an hour 45 coming home. No, it was good. It was a refresher for most stuff. But I learned some. You always, I think when you get to a certain level without sounding stupid or cocky, like a good part that but you always pick up those cool little tips and tricks here and there. It's like, oh, wow, that's what I like doing. But, I mean, you do sit through a bunch of talking. You get some hands-on stuff. It was cool. Saw some people I haven't seen in a while because it's the bike community. Met up with Phil from Haymarket and talked to because Phil's coming on next week.
Oh, nice.
And he'll be at Croatan.
Nice.
So, no, it was good. I got some Shimano swag. Came home, took a nap, so I haven't gone through all my... I got some new product catalogs. And they were running EPs for employees that were there.
Right.
And I scored some new RX-8 shoes.
Nice.
Yeah. I've been riding... So, I go through road... Like, I have really nice road shoes. That's what we ride most of the time. I haven't updated my gravel shoes in like 3 or 4 years.
Mine are... I don't know how old mine are.
I mean, I got like 3 pair of S-Works shoes that are like less than a year old for the road bike. And... Yeah, I got tired of I like my Recon shoes that Specialized made. The lace-ups, but I'm starting to hate the laces.
Yeah.
So the RX-8s are like the thing now. And like even Lanzo said that he's got a lot of S-Works shoes, and the Shimano, those shoes are probably more comfortable than those. And they're half the cost.
So what's the deal? What's the closures on those shoes? Describe the shoes.
All right, I'm gonna pull a picture so I don't bugger it up.
I believe they go on your feet. One left, one right.
Okay.
So
Do you put them on at the same time, or do you put them on?
That's what makes Shimano stand out from most other shoe companies.
Why?
You can put both on at the same time.
At the same time.
Yeah. They give you dual shoe horns.
it happens. So it is a BOA system.
That I like.
Have you seen these before?
I don't
turn
think so.
the computer around.
You seen Lanzo wear his shoes?
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen those.
bottom.
Yeah.
So they're super comfortable. You pop them on. There's like I've heard multiple people talk about Shimano shoes lately where there's no break-in.
Mm-hmm.
They fit good.
I'm in the market.
These things are $250 MSRP, I think.
Whoa!
Compared to $400
Be
S-Works
fine.
shoes.
It'd be fine. Just for go fixing your Tacoma mirror and go get shoes.
Yeah, that's a Toyota dealer tomorrow to get a pair of these. We'll compare them to $400 for a pair of S-Works Recons.
Throw it in, tour at a dealer.
Yeah, and
Jesus.
No, I'm pretty stoked. I got them for a ridiculous price.
Don't share.
I won't. I can't share. It's
no, don't share.
$4.99.
Yeah.
He paid $2.99. Regularly
There's a fire. Sale.
Us Mandalorians are not allowed to speak.
This
is the way.
This is the way.
So yeah, I mean, I'll probably have those in a couple days.
Nice.
I didn't get them today. I ordered them.
What color?
I got that silver camo. It's like a silver. It's got a camo look to it.
Sure.
I love black, shoes.
Do we think our jerseys are going to be in time for?
I just hope they are Corona free.
Corona. We'll need to have time to like air them out. And
I'll put them in my freezer.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
freeze the coronavirus.
Yeah,
that'll work.
Thought you burned it.
Yeah, I'll put it all over Wes's hamburgers.
I was going to put mine in a microwave.
Oh, that's probably better.
Maybe 10 minutes in the microwave.
No, that's how you get big coronavirus.
Yeah, freeze-thaw cycles. I'll call that bike shop and be like, hey. That's about my catch-up.
Yeah.
I got the itch for fishing again. Like, I've been itchy for like a year now because of like no time last year. But I want to do some like smallmouth bike packing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, there's too many rivers within like 3 or 4 hours from here.
That would be a good name for like the smaller ride. Like if you were to put an event on. The smallmouth?
Smallmouth.
How do you get the largemouth?
Yeah. Actually, my friend Mike live not far from Mifflinburg, and the rivers up there are amazing.
Cool.
So I might actually stay on the latter part of Lulaca. I have to drive separate, I guess, and unless you want to go fishing.
Yeah, I was just going to say, there's okay.
And,
bye, Brian.
Bye.
We were actually planning out, around the weekend of the 25th of April. It's my birthday weekend.
Joey's not good with the invites.
It's all right.
It happens.
You'll get there if you need to be there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What have you been up to over there?
Not much.
Just getting ready to go.
Just getting ready to go.
Getting ready to leave.
Getting all the little bits in the line and making sure everything's switched over. And
I can't believe that's really happening.
Yeah.
Well, after our Strava Club following, I can.
You're welcome. Brought all those people in for you.
Yep.
I think that's Travis. Travis did it.
Could have been.
What is going? Everybody ready for Strava Club?
All right, I haven't
Club.
proofread Strava, but
I told you I'm not
top
doing
100. I don't know.
You do.
All right, I'm gonna start with Joe Lilbridge from Finksburg because that doesn't sound weird. So sorry, Joe, if that was true.
I just laughed at Joe. You just accused them of being weird.
All right, Joe Lilbridge from
Sorry, Joe.
Finksburg. He has to listen to the other episodes if he's
Let's just say
worried.
Joe does not have a Golden Gate.
Yeah, he had 169.2. Terry Road Girl. See what I mean? From Wilmington, North Carolina, 124.5.
I am not doing it. And again,
we got Road Girl and Lil Bridge in top 3.
Lily
and William Westover.
Yeah.
I've heard William Westover's name multiple times somewhere. He's from North Braddock, PA at 172.6.
Oh, big
so
miles.
The big announcement of the week. I'm going to move around. Weren't we at 512 when you texted us last night or something?
521.
We're at 534, so Wes has to leave from 490.
That's a big jump.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other big
44.
jump to be in the top 100, you need 109.6. Like that's pretty big.
We're jumping
for
up.
100.
Yeah, we've been like, what was it like? About a month ago, it was like right around 75 or 80.
At one point in time, it was 50. I was feeling good. Like I could actually make it into the top 200.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were rolling, so Wes has to leave. And if you still want to join, you can unsubscribe after next week. Strava.com/clubs/gravel travel dirt.
So one thing I did do with the leaderboards, because I selected the names, is I did do some selective randomness. Does that make sense?
No.
So I'd select a random number, and then I would look at their profile. And if it was one of those knuckleheads that had like 100 Strava clubs listed in their profile,
yeah.
No, not you.
Not Lilbridge.
Did you kick him out of the club?
I didn't kick them out of the club. They're just not going to make it onto our shout-out. They're not getting shout-outs because they're just
Is there an
Strava
advantage to being part of all those clubs?
No, not at all. None whatsoever.
Swag.
Other than maybe a shout out on our podcast. It sounds like
This is probably the most benefit you get from joining Strava Club is by hearing your name on a podcast. Maybe. That's probably about it.
Maybe.
So, big numbers, big miles.
Oh, yeah.
I had like 155 something last week.
I pulled a big old goose egg.
Really? Well, you're
I finally
tapering.
Yes, for tapering.
Tapering 2.5 weeks out.
I think Sundays was my first day that I didn't feel sick. in like over a week.
You've been sick.
Yeah. I feel like I get sick a lot. If you listen to the podcast, I started sick. I got sick in the middle. I got sick in the fall, and I'm sick again.
Sickening.
It's happening.
I don't think you've been sick a lot.
Well, for a 29-year-old.
Well, okay.
Do you realize more people die from the regular flu than corona?
Well, sure.
Well, the regular flu's been around for a long time.
Yeah, well, wasn't making a big deal about corona.
Well, I think the big deal is that we don't actually know what's happening.
It happens.
The problem with
well,
I
could
it's
get
a pretty
to
big
some,
deal.
I could get into some debates, but I think I'm up for a tip.
Have you got a tech tip for this week, Joey? I'm not giving you any music.
Yeah, I do.
You complain about the music. You're not giving you any music.
I thought we were listening to
America.
Nope, not giving you any music.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not giving any tips.
Again to say the mother effing day, yeah.
All right.
What's your tech tip of the week, Joey?
My tech tip is a little bit more involved, only because I haven't done one in a while, and I got a refresher on it today. It's servicing your clutch on your Shimano derailleur.
That's a clutch tech tip.
It is. It's clutch, and it's actually not hard to do for those people that are not engineers who are probably tech savvy.
Let me stop you right there.
We already lost those listeners like 20 episodes ago when I started bashing them. No, everyone riding Shimano probably has 80% of them, I bet, have a clutch. And I think it gets overlooked for service. And you can literally keep it on your bike to take it off. I can even find that little video and post it. Actually, maybe I'll do that tomorrow and I'll put it on there. Or probably after the episode comes out. But you take out some screws, you do need a special grease for that, but it's not a big deal because the clutches could get bound up, stuck a little bit. They don't move as smooth. So I know we probably need to take yours apart. Yeah. Like yours is having an issue right now and it's brand new.
Yeah.
So let's rip her apart.
Yeah. You want me to bring that in tomorrow?
Yeah, cowboy.
I'll bring that by.
All right.
I'll bring it in.
So
bring it down.
It's a fun little project. I like having bikes to work on. I do encourage some people to do some stuff at home for, it's fun.
Well, yeah,
everybody fiddle with stuff, you know.
And then when you mess up, we make more money.
Yeah.
Now you done broke it.
Yeah.
Now, would this clutch service have saved my last GRX?
No.
Okay.
It doesn't make it stick proof or what?
Yeah, doesn't make it idiot proof.
God. I need one of those.
No, it's
That's called a helmet.
It's a cool little thing to do when you're at home and feel accomplished. You're cleaning your shift, and it. Yeah. So we'll do a little video. We'll do it while we're doing yours tomorrow. How to take it apart.
So there's a couple little screws you pull them out.
Literally need there's 4 2mm Allen keys.
So little teenies.
How little fellas.
Oh God, don't drop them.
Bring a magnet.
Yeah.
Well, lay it out on a bit. Well, if you're doing it on your, I always take my stuff off.
I always take tiny parts out like that in the grass, in the lawn.
Oh,
that's
it helps.
where I do it.
I do mine at night, blindfolded.
Yeah.
What you're supposed to do is spray paint your grass gold, so if you do drop something, you can pick it up.
I just spread Elmer's glue all over the grass, and then if something drops, it sticks.
I drink the Elmer's glue.
No, I was gonna say when I'm done, I've got Elmer's paste to eat.
Oh, see,
I take the Elmer's glue.
I drink it so that way when I sweat, my fingertips are just sticky.
You remember the lady from Billy Madison with the glue?
That's nice.
Are we going to talk about some Buck 50?
Yeah, we are.
Who wrote that?
Do you have an Instagram follow, Joey?
Oh, I'm supposed to have the Instagram follow?
Your name's been on the show notes for an Instagram follow for this week since last week.
All right.
Here we go. Putting a lot of thought into this one.
No, I mean, you could go to Instagram, and if you go to following, you can go to the people that you most shown and feed, who you're most interactive with. Porpoise Walker's pretty good. However, do not look at that in front of your kids.
But you definitely want to open up at church.
Actually, let's see. Oh man, Wes, that threw me off. Let's say
what, the Butt 50 or the church thing?
The church thing.
You send me a bunch of Instagram posts.
Yeah, but they're usually not appropriate for us to talk about.
No, but you have led me down some seriously horrible rabbit trails. The girls getting hurt one is hilarious.
Have I sent you like Porpoise Walker stuff?
No.
Oh, you're gonna love that.
But you send me some that are like the accounts. Stop it! What are you doing over there?
Wes,
you're shaking the microphone.
I know what I'm doing.
It.
Did I bring up the Ohio Gravel Grinders before as an Instagram follow?
Yes,
because they're pretty sweet.
Ruh-roh.
They're one of my more popular ones. Who do I like? Who's got good pictures is Hope Cyclery, which is Jared Blunk, the guy we talked about that shoots for the Radavist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That we saw a bike swap. Is like, oh, that's a cool bike. And we're like, we don't know what that bike is.
Okay. So what's the Instagram account?
We never figured out what that bike was.
No, Hope Cyclery. H-O-P.
Hope Cyclery?
Yep.
Got it.
I follow a lot of his stuff, and
Cool.
he's got some good pictures. Yeah,
So that's Joey's Instagram follow recommendation of the week.
See,
Hope
solid.
Cyclery.
Thank you
But
for
dude-
sticking around for 10 minutes.
I'm not editing any of that out. Okay, everybody, welcome back. Matt Hawkins from the Croatan Buck 50. And after my little diatribe last week, I thought it would be smart for us to get somebody that actually knew what they were talking about. And Matt agreed to join us this week. So thanks, Matt, for coming back on the podcast.
Thanks for having me, boys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Your sound quality should be a little bit better this time than last time because we have upgraded all of our equipment, so people should be able to understand what you say. And it was all the way back in mid-November. I thought it was just like a month ago or so that you were on with us, but it was after
post-Philly.
Yeah, it was after Philly Bike Expo to talk about the
Time flies.
best bike game ever. I love that tagline. And we're just a week or 2 weeks away right now, recording the 2.5 weeks.
Two
Like that?
2.5. Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
And I know it's a really busy time for you, and we really do appreciate you popping in. So let's jump right in. I'd like to kind of start talking a little bit about the course because I did go down and do a little bit of a recon thing on Valentine's Day, and kudos to my wife. First time on a gravel bike, did Savage Road, so I kind of feel
That's pretty good.
I think that's a pretty big deal. She did 30 miles back in there and had a good time doing it. So what's the current sort of big picture course conditions looking like to you right now?
Well, since you've been here, right after you got here, I actually paid out of my own pocket to have the first part of the course graded. It's 9 miles basically from the start of where we go into the Croatan for the first part out to the cornfield. It's about a 9-mile stretch, and since Hurricane Florence, it's just been really neglected, and they haven't had the resources to do anything with it. So grading the first section was a huge part of ensuring that we can put 800 riders into that with all of their adrenaline and excitement and everyone feeling like they're going to win. It will give at a minimum, 3 or 4 miles of you can use the whole road, which is nice. Last year it was riddled with potholes, and so we did grade that. And so the first section of the course is in really good shape. We bulldozed what we call Sector 4, which is the first hard section, which is where we've had some really bad mud holes. It's the first time where you really have to pick a line. And that road has been closed for 2 years now to road traffic, but people still find their way down there, and it's just gotten really bad. So we had the guy go through there with the bulldozer and try to make it safer. And I'm praying right now that it's going to dry up a little bit. If it doesn't dry up, I will just say that that's going to be an interesting early test for folks, because it goes through Wolf Swamp, and it is a little bit wet at the moment. I don't know if folks know what the terrain is down here, but if you stick a straw in the ground, you're going to dig a well. So you're right. We're right at sea level, and so we require wind and some warm days to dry it out. So hopefully that first section will get dried out pretty good. But the rest of the course is in really good shape. The new section that we're planning on using, honestly, will have to be the week of decision if it's usable or not. It's been being frequented by four-wheelers for a while now, and I'll just make that decision myself. We may, I'd like to use it But if it's going to be impassable in some fashion, then we'll just, do the course like we did last year and come straight back down Black Swamp Road. But
okay,
that's the current status. It's pretty dry. We've had a lot of rain, and it's drying out. But it rained today. It's raining tomorrow, so you never know.
Comparing it to like maybe last year or previous years for folks that have done it before, kind of where would you put it? What kind of grade would you give it?
I mean, the roads themselves are like light years better than they were last year.
Okay.
They're smooth, and you'll have way more line choice. It'll be easier to ride in a group. The technical sections of the course, which would be the first part of Wolf Swamp, the cornfield's pretty much in the same condition as it was last year. And then the new OHV trail is actually really good and super fun. It's just a couple low spots that are really muddy. You may have seen some of the pictures and stuff that we've had out there. I mean,
yeah,
it can be flooded. So if it's flooded, it's really not – it's certainly not rideable, but it's hardly even walkable. So we're trying to remedy that. I'll probably end up building some bridges over on the side of that trail area so we can walk across. But if we use that area, that's just one or two spots where you might have to hop off your bike and hike a bike for a couple feet. But Savage Road's fully rideable. Plenty of lines on Savage Road. There's, if you don't feel comfortable, you can always hop off and safely skip across some spots. But in general, I think it's going to be a fast year. It's going to be an interesting dynamic having this many people out there, just because you'll have larger groups. First year it really broke up.
What is the number? What is the number total entrance?
We'll have 800 people. So it's 800 riders, and the breakdown it's almost pretty evenly, a third. So it's about 270 some folks for each field.
So let's walk through it like piece by piece. So starting off, I know that there's a 2 mile neutral rollout, and does that use a slightly different exit than the regular loop? Do you go out the road and come back up and around, or do you go through the farm bypass?
Yeah, we start on the track. We start at the start-finish line, and we're going to ask people to self-seed themselves. So we want you to try to be putting yourself in the group where you think you're going to end up. And then we have a scooter rollout. So we have a scooter that stays in front of folks. We take them out to the main road. The police will block the road for us. We go about a quarter of a mile down the main road, and then we hop into the Croatan. When we hop into the Croatan there, that's on Route 144. No, it's 205. So it's Route 205. And basically all we do is just make sure everyone is turned onto that road, and then the ruckus will speed up and kind of ride away, and the race starts.
I think that's where I parked when I came down to do a little recon. I drove in, kind of eyeballed the speedway, and then went back out to 58, went up, and I found the road that comes in and parked right there on the corner. It's like a big wide spot in the road right there.
Yes.
And I think that's where I parked. So I'm familiar with that little piece of road.
So that section goes down for 2 miles, and right before it gets to the end, off to the right is the farm bypass cutoff. So when you're coming back, you're turning left. And heading into the farm bypass, go to the speedway, and you'll come back out through the farm. So you never actually go back to the road, but the race starts on that long straight stretch leading up to that. And we've graded that, which is a huge improvement. So it's fast. There's very few potholes, and it should be a lot safer for the group.
Okay, yeah, that was going to say that was. It seemed like it was fast when you were able to pick a line. But I can imagine a large group of people rolling through that with those potholes. They weren't big, they weren't deep. They were there, and they catch you by surprise. I can see that would be a problem in a big group.
Yeah, I mean it's inevitably, I only have so much control over what the conditions are, but last year was the worst. And it was pretty dry last year, but the potholes were everywhere, and none of the roads had been maintained. And we'd had, 100-year flood storm. So we were lucky to just have the trees cleared off the road at that point. So
you could really see. And when I came down to Swansboro, we were just there for a day and a half. Beautiful little town. What a cute little town it is.
Cool.
And I hope people really do kind of embrace the whole weekend and stick around and kind of see some things there are to see down there. But you could definitely see a lot of the storm damage that was still left. It was pretty apparent.
Yeah.
Pretty apparent. So anything that anybody can do to spend a little bit of money down there, I know goes a long ways. So
absolutely. What
is the farm bypass looking like? Any surprises there?
No, farm bypass is in pretty much the same shape. It can be wet. Last year it had a little bit of a cyclocross feel to it for a short period. And it's an interesting dynamic coming in and out. I really think it added to the race because it allows people to dig deep if they want to push towards the finish. But it also is a good sort of barrier to know that you're almost there. You're either almost done or you're heading out for the lap. And it's a good source of two-way traffic too. So you get to see a lot of people. It's a pretty cool little spot. It's private property. Absolutely cannot ride on it without race access. It's gated and stuff. And then they built up this earth barrier in the middle of it's an old Croatan road is what it is. And so we get them to come out there with the front end loader and like move the barrier out of the way just for the race day. So that still hasn't happened yet. I still have to go out there and clear up the overgrowth. And it's also like a little bit of a dump site. So people have dumped trash there. And so I have to go out there myself and clean that stuff up and create a pathway. But that's all part of the labor of love of race director, I guess, is to clean up other people's trash.
now you mentioned two-way traffic through the farm bypass. Does that create any kind of, is that wide enough, or does that create sort of a bottleneck or any issues there with it being two-way?
I don't think so. I mean, it's wide enough and visibility is good enough where, and it's never really at that point, you're never really in a group. Okay. You might be with one or two people, but it's 4 miles into the ride. So, it's normally, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, after you come out of the farm bypass, so say you're not on the beginning, that neutral rollout, you're on your second lap. That second section, just as a frame of reference, that's that 7.5 miles that you talk about that goes through the swamp pit section, correct?
Right.
Sort of at the back. So, if you were to imagine that as being like a backwards C, it seems like that mud was like sort of at the back end of that.
It's in the middle. So it's right in the middle. We name all the roads. They're a little different, but you come out of the farm bypass and you make a right on what we call Sector 3. Okay. It's got really good gravel. It's good packed gravel, and that section is about 2 miles long, and you make a sharp right and an immediate left. Mm-hmm. And that is Sector 4, which is what we bulldoze, which is Wolf Swamp, and it's very sandy, and it feels like instantly like your tires are flat and your brakes are rubbing, because it just requires power to get through it. That section is 2.5 miles long, and that is where currently we bulldozed it, and we're waiting for it to kind of settle down. If for some reason it stays wet, that section is going to be wild. I mean, wild. I was worried because it wasn't safe. I mean, the mud holes that were in there were really deep, and people were going to go in there and try to take a line, and somebody was going to break a collarbone or something, and I just didn't want to do that. So we bulldozed it, but now there's sections of it that are deep mud, like say 4 or 5 inches. And if you've ever ridden through that on a bike,
sucks the wheels in.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like you fall over and hurt yourself, but you're
going to be messy.
Yes. I mean, it's
day.
wild. So I'm really hoping that I'm told it's going to pack down, but I just don't know. And honestly, at this point, I paid to have it fixed, and I really think it's going to be an exciting part of the race. Honestly, it's going to be a challenge for sure, and the other thing is, when you send 800 people through something, you're going to create a path.
Right, multiple times.
Yeah.
They're not coming through once or twice.
And so a line develops, and you see where everybody else has gone, and all those tire tracks pack it down. And so, everything about it ends up kind of working itself out on race day, comes out in the wash. But it may be one of those sections where that plus Savage Road plus the OHV trail, if it is wet, people are going to come back to the Speedway and look like they've been doing something. Otherwise, you might come back clean.
Okay. So the back end of that, now we enter the cornfield. So that's the end of that Sector 4 road. Is that sort of the end of Sector 4?
You come out of Sector 4 and you turn right and cross the railroad tracks.
Right.
And then you turn left onto 144, and 144 goes out to the cornfield. We graded 144. It was riddled with potholes. Now it's clear. It's fast. It's safe. And you ride out to the cornfield. It's about 2.5 miles. You'll come up on the cornfield. You'll make a sharp right back onto yourself into the first cornfield. There's a small cornfield. We ride around the outside of it. We go through this secret path that crosses the railroad track again and goes over to the main cornfield. That is also two-way traffic. On the way out, it's going to be obviously only one way, but it's two-way traffic through the cornfield. You come out of the other cornfield, the big cornfield, and you stay on the outside road, and it's a little sandy, which is kind of fun. That'll test some folks. And the big difference is they planted soybean this year instead of corn in the cornfield. So last year we had the corn stalks were pretty tall, and so you could only kind of ride in one spot. And this year what I'm going to do is something kind of fun. Is when you pop out of the woods, you're faced with the whole field, and I don't care where you ride. So I'm not going to put a barrier up. I'm not going to make you go anywhere. We've worn in a path, and there is a path that goes straight over to the bridge that crosses into the last piece. But I think it'll be interesting to see people pop out of the woods and just make their own way across.
That's going to be interesting.
You can ride anywhere you want. It's going to require watts, and you can get through it, but it's going to be an interesting dynamic because it'll be a place for people to pass. And it also, I think, on the way out during the race, this is going to be if Wolf Swamp doesn't already do it, when people get to the cornfield, the race is going to blow up a little bit, because you're going to have to be putting out big power to get across there. So, and then when you pop out, you're on the road and you've got yourself 2 miles on the road. And that 2 miles on the road is not going to be a rest. It's a very fast section, and it comes right back into rides straight into the other side of the Croatan onto Great Lake Road. Great Lake's in great shape. You're going to fly out Great Lake for 2 miles. You're going to make a left on Holston, and Holston's in phenomenal shape, and that goes all the way out to Black Swamp.
I did that when we were down there, and that struck me. They were in great shape. They seemed really fast, especially Great Lake. And making that left-hand turn. Now, we went up to Savage Road, made the right-hand turn there, as opposed to going all the way up to where the aid station was. So I don't have, but does the road, when you go past Savage Road, where you would make the right-hand turn onto Savage Road, but instead keep going straight up towards the aid station, does that road condition hold sort of the same all the way up to the aid station?
No, it gets better. So you go up about a half a mile past Savage Road on Holston, and you make a right onto Black Swamp. And Black Swamp is super long. Like, it seems to take forever. And part of it is it goes in one direction, makes one sharp left turn, and then it goes straight for like 5 miles. And that road is in amazing shape. You can ride on any part of it, and you can fly on it, especially in a group. If we don't have two-way traffic, so if we do use the OHV trail, what you're doing is you're going up Black Swamp to the aid station, and then we would be going into the woods and coming directly back down parallel to the way you rode up Black Swamp. You're just over, 500 yards in the woods coming down this trail. If the weather holds, which it should, we'll probably use that trail, and then you'll just come straight back to Savage Road. So you actually you'll come to the aid station, go around the parking area, which they've also fixed the parking area. The bathrooms are not shot up by shotguns, and it's in good shape. And the Down East cyclist guys will be there. We've got a much bigger aid station now. So where we realize that when we put this many people into that space, the space will handle it. It's just that, you can't have 2 water jugs for a line of 50 people trying to fill up their water bottles, So we're going to have a lot of tables, a lot of jugs, a lot of water, a lot of quick fixes for folks.
That's
and then
smart.
You don't even leave the aid station parking lot. You just come to the end of it, and the trail is there. So you kind of enter back into the woods. And that trail, there's a few of us that have ridden it, not that many people, but they've put a ton of rock in there for the first 2 miles. So it's in good shape. It goes out about a half a mile, and then it turns and comes back parallel, and it goes 4 miles, 4.5 miles straight back. And so 2.5 miles of that is great rock. And then it goes back to being primitive again. And when it is primitive, the problem is, and what people have seen these pictures of, is there's just like 2 low spots where the road, it is a swamp, and the road is low, and the water is basically pooling up down there. And because it's an OHV trail, it's literally just 4-wheelers go out there and tear it up. So
it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah, well, it just never drains. Yeah. That's the problem. Like, if it was just mud, you could get across it. But if you show up there and it's just all water, it's sketchy. Like you wouldn't walk into it. And so what we're going to do is we'll make the determination that it's actually safe, and we'll create a walkable path that's safe. Or if it's dry enough to ride, which I've ridden it as recently as 3 weeks ago. I rode it. Okay. So it's rideable if it's dry, but we just won't know. And so we'll play a game time decision there. And then that section's really fun though. And if we have it in the race, it's going to be a game changer, because that plus Savage Road with no break in it is going to provide a long stretch for people to distance themselves, from other folks and break up packs and et cetera. So that's kind of why I really want it to be part of the race. And it keeps us from having an out and back down Black Swamp.
So how on that OHV, those 2 muddy sections, how do they compare to what I experienced last week on Savage Road? Because here's what I saw was just giant water puddles that I actually picked the lines around, and there's lines around all of them. There was no there was always a way around the outside. And a couple of times I was like, I want to see how deep this is, so I'd roll the bike down into it, and it'd come up to the bottom bracket before I'd actually pull the bike back out. Yeah, and it seemed like it had a water level, and then it had like another lip to it, so I can just see like if
the
you're
difference is if you're Savage Road's mud holes have had 5,000 pound trucks go through them. And so not only is it water and it's primordial dark black mud that will never come off, which is fun, but you don't even know how deep it is. So it literally will swallow vehicles. The difference with Black Swamp is that there's no vehicle traffic over there. So it's just a low spot that is since it's a swamp, it has water feeding in it from left and right. And when we get a rain, all that water that's draining on all those canals, it's coming to this low spot. So it just takes days for it to kind of dry up. That's the difference. It's not those dangerous, like weird shaped mud holes that these trucks have formed. It's like just a basin kind of, that's like 150. You'll probably saw that video I took, but it's like a really long, muddy spot. Can you walk across it? Yeah, you can walk straight across it. But it is, you might go down to your knee at some point and you wouldn't know it. And I just don't want to see 800 people have to trudge through that. So what I've gotten clearance to do is on the left-hand side, there's like a berm that runs up there. And I'm just going to basically create enough of a path where we can ride it or walk it safely. And so it's a simple fix, but here's the trick. If I go out there now and do it, those dudes are going to come out there this weekend on their 4-wheelers and tear it up.
Yep.
And so I have to time all this in a way that makes it still there, because everything that we've done in the Croatan, from building bridges to whatever, these guys will go out there with their trucks and tie a rope to it. And, and the same thing with the 4-wheelers. I mean, they're just out there goofing off and having fun, but they're also they'll tear anything up. So I certainly don't want to go out there and do a bunch of work and then have it done, vanish. So I'll be doing that game time decision the weekend before. And I don't mean to act like it's a iffy. I'm saying that there's people that have done it that are like, we can't race down this, and I understand that that's a possibility. So the cool thing is we already know we can do the other way safely and fine. But if we can do the OHV trail and it makes it a better race, we're going to do that too. But we'll just make that decision the week before.
In fact, when I was out there a couple weeks ago, I saw an F-150 out on Savage Road that had high centered coming out of one of those really deep puddles, and he wasn't going anywhere. He was hard stuck, and he was going to have a bad afternoon. Not exactly sure. He was probably going to end up waiting for somebody to come pull him out, because it was F-150 didn't belong back there anyway, honestly. Well,
just a quick story on how that got its name, and I may have told this before, I can't remember, but I don't think anybody had ever ridden that road, and I was scouting to try to do the race, and one of the problems, and one of the things people always say is like, why don't we have a lap? Like, why don't we have a loop? There is no loop in the Croatan. It doesn't exist, because the swamps that are out there and the Pocosins that are protected, they don't have roads that loop around. You end up going straight somewhere to a highway, and the way that the forest is set up, there just isn't a circle loop to do. So, but that road is called Seabourn Road, and it was there, and I could see it on the map. But when you'd ride by it and you'd see it, just like, whoa, I'm not going down that, and it looked really sketchy. Well, I was out there one day in the summer, and I was on my Crux, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go down there and see where it goes. Why not? Cell service went. I was like out there, and I hadn't gone very far, but I was probably a half a mile in, and I see this truck, and it is like, it's abandoned. I mean, it was like a almost a brand new Chevy single cab, big wheels on it. The windows were down. The mud, it was in the mud up to the window. Like, I mean, it was just buried, and there was nobody around. I couldn't believe it. I was like, and this was on like a Tuesday, I'm thinking, when did this guy leave this truck, and how's he going to get it out of here? Well, So it struck me, and I was like, wow, okay. So then I rode all the way through to the other side, and I came back 2 days later. Truck was still there, and I was like, I've never seen some, like a brand new truck just like abandoned out in the middle of the woods. I'm like, this is crazy. So I took a picture of it. I rode to the other side, and there's people that come in from both sides with their trucks. There's this giant Ford on the other side, just mangled up and sitting in this giant mud hole. It's also abandoned. So there's these two trucks on the road that are abandoned. So I walked up to the truck, it's covered in mud, and I just wrote with my finger on it, Savage. And I took a picture of it. Well, then, we go back and I was like, we're going to put this road in the race, and people are like, what? And I'm like, yeah, we're going to call it Savage Road. So we started calling it Savage Road. Well, that's how things happen. You just say it enough and it becomes a thing. But almost every time we go down there, there is some sort of if it's not a truck, it's a bumper or a hood or something that has just been left, or like shoes, and just random pieces of clothing.
They probably sucked some water into that engine through the intake and probably locked the engine up. And those trucks weren't going anywhere. That's the only reason I would think you would actually just leave it, kind of like sitting there.
Well, I mean, when they're stuck though. I mean, yeah. They don't come out. But that's how it got the name.
So once you pop off at the end of Savage Road, you're basically at that point now you begin backtracking over ground that you've already covered, correct?
Yes. And just let me go back to talk about Savage Road real quick. Sure. Savage Road's in great shape. We had them go through there and not bulldoze it, bush hog the whole thing. And so it's super wide. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, that's also allowed a lot of new trucks to go through there and play, but there is plenty of space to ride. It's in way better shape than it's ever been as far as for riding. And we'll also make sure with that there is a line over on the edge. If say there's a full, there's like five of those mud holes that are like the whole width of the thing. They're 150 foot wide, but right by the canal, we always like go through and tamp out something that bikes can ride on. Okay. And so that's always something we do the week of the race, so we can ensure that people can get through it. Once you pop out, Savage Road is 3.5 miles long. So from the start of the ATV trail to the end of Savage Road is 8 miles. It's a fun 8 miles. It is not really a dangerous 8 miles. It's just like you got to pick your line and you have to kind of be alert. But it's a nice break from the monotony of just gravel. You pop out onto Great Lake Road, and it's a nice stretch of road that goes back the way you came in and goes straight out to back out to the hardball. And so you run straight out Great Lake, you hop on the hardball, you're out there for 2 miles, and then you pop back in the cornfield. Okay. And then you're backtracking back. So once you get to the other side of the cornfield, it's 9 miles back to the speedway. Okay. And so that's the course.
A good rule of thumb, it sounds like, for the OHV as well as for Savage Road, don't ride through water. That sounds like it's
never ride through water. I was watching the video again from last year, and people are just riding through puddles, and I'm like, it's just not safe. Some of them are fine, but the ones that aren't, I mean, I've seen Oz, who rides with me. He's my size. I mean, we're like 6'2", he fell into a tire rut that was no bigger than a tire, and his whole bike and body went in that rut. It was 4 foot deep, and that just looked like a 3-inch deep, puddle, and you just never know. So you have to be careful, and when you're in a group and you're panicked or you're racing, people seem to think that's the easiest way through, and it is just not. I never ride through the mud. I always pick a line, and I also say, like, if you're in the race, get off your bike and walk.
Okay.
Don't don't push it. I've watched so many people that go too slow, that don't have good skills, that get in these spots, and those are the ones who fall in the mud holes. They are the ones who fall face first in the mud hole. They're covered, and they, it's not super dangerous to fall in those things, but
yuck.
Yeah, it's just it's cold. You never know what it's going to be like in March. The stuff does not come out. And that's what makes it fun. But you're better off just taking a little bit of time, hopping off your bike and jumping over something if it's sketching you out. So that's my rule of thumb. Race day. I've seen the leaders. The one thing about this that shocks me is they really ride this course super fast. And they're going to average, 21 or more for the 150, which just blows my mind. But
spreadsheet now, Brian.
But the mortals are going to average a higher speed than they think too. You can do this in 19, 20, 18. You can do that if you're fit and you're going to run. But there's also people that are going to do it in 10 miles an hour. And those folks, that tortoise style, it works out here because you're just pedaling,
Mm-hmm.
You just keep pedaling. It's not super technical if you're going slow. And things like Savage Road and the OHV Trail are no big deal. If you have to hop off your bike and walk around a mud hole for 30 seconds, what does that really mean in the grand scheme of a 3.5 hour lap, Right. So I just caution people that are worried about that kind of stuff to not sweat it. Just walk it.
Got it.
And there's not that many of those sections, and 99.9% of the course is just pristine right now. But we do have a couple spots that I just can't do anything about because Mother Nature's built a swamp out there, and that's what we're riding through.
That's what we're choosing to do. So
yeah.
So what is a good tire size and style? What are you recommending?
Well, I will say, just a shameless plug. Our official tire sponsor is Pan-A-Racer. The reason our official tire sponsor is Pan-A-Racer is because I ride Pan-A-Racers, and
Nice.
And I called them and I was like, I didn't want anything. I just love the tires and I use them myself. And so what better thing? So I personally ride a 38. I ride a Gravel King. I ride a Slick. And I ride a Slick all the time. Most people down here ride an SK style, or any sort of fast tread gravel tire. But the race has been won on 35s both years, and I would argue that that's a good choice, but it is not the best choice for most of the people. More volume is better. Dylan won last year and Brian Lewis won the first year. Both of those guys just have insane talent, skill set, watts, and also they're sacrificing a little bit of comfort for speed over the course of 150 miles. Most folks, I would really argue, need more tire volume just because of the comfort level. Okay. It's going to wear you down if you're out there for a long time. All those beats and bumps, and the tires will help. So I recommend a 38, or I would say a 35 to a 40 tire. You don't need to run a mountain bike out here. You certainly can do this course on slicks, on a road bike, and it has been done. It's not a good experience, but you can do it. We don't have flats here. It's not really a worry. There's not a whole lot of things that are punctures or rocks that are going to cause that. Mostly what it is loose material. So there's sandy corners. Those are dangerous. I always recommend people take it easy through the corners. Mm-hmm. Everybody hot shoes the first corner and wipes out. It's just all there is to it. Because it just feels like you can do it, but you can't. They're really loose. The sections like a wolf swamp. If you don't need a tire just for that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. So the only place
if it's bad, you're not going to, I mean, why would you have a mud tire for 100 yards? You know what I mean? So,
right. The only place that I saw there was a potential for tire damage or anything like that would have been along the bush hog sections of Savage Road. If you actually ventured into some of that,
for sure.
I can see where something.
I don't
like
mean
that.
to say like it's, you know, you don't have to worry about it. I'm saying that unlike other races where like flats are kind of part of the deal, very few people have that issue here from the conditions.
Okay.
And of course, anything can happen. You know, we don't have one thing. The one thing I will say is we don't really have a whole lot of strict rules about how you can get support, but you know, you need to bring a tube, you need to bring a way to fix it. You need to bring something emergency wise, like you should have your phone with you. Mm-hmm. The course is about 95% cell coverage, and the spots where you don't have cell coverage, you're probably going to be around people. So, and we do have EMS out on the course on 4-wheelers, and we have the ruckus riding around as well doing sweeping. So there's course marshals out there, and then you got 800 other riders. So I don't think people are going to be stranded or out there, you know, for very long without being seen or heard if there's a serious mechanical. But we'll help get people off the course as best we can. And really the only section where there's a walkout situation is the OHV, you know, Savage Road area. But I'll have a buddy there on a 4-wheeler that's just there for that, to get people in and out of there.
Cool. I got a couple of listener questions that I kind of want to run through real quick, and I think one of them you've already answered on Instagram at WPOFAH Wapoffle. How would you say that, Joey? At Wapoffle?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to say Wapoffle. He actually used your hashtag, Joey, the AskGTD. Nice.
Oh, nice.
Right? And he had a question about Black Swamp Road, which I think we've already kind of beat to death, but he wanted to know if he should bring a snorkel. So it doesn't sound like that's going to be needed. And if it would have been needed, it sounds like possibly that's not going to be on the route. So
yeah,
I
think you're fine there.
Yeah, I got an email from Mo, and he actually did have sort of an interesting question. He says, with Croatan Buck 50 coming on like a freight train, and his is a bigger of a question, but specifically referencing the Buck 50 and other gravel events in my area. My question for all of you is aero bars. I did the event last year and saw a bunch of riders with them. I have a set of Platt Carbon TTs and Ride Fair aero bolt-ons that I'm toying with. Having a heavy debate with myself to use one of them at Croatan. How do you feel about using them in the gravel world, and do you think they can make a difference? And that was from Mo. What are your thoughts on aero bars, Matt?
My thoughts on air bars is I don't personally use them, but I do strongly believe that they are beneficial. And I do think that there is ample opportunity in this race to use them. However, if you haven't put aero bars on your bike yet, do not put them on there and come do the race with them.
That would end badly.
And the reason is that, you know, being comfortable in that position is the only reason that you would want to use them, because you want to be comfortable, and then it's faster. I mean, there's no other way around it. It's faster. Right. But if you're not comfortable doing it, this window is too short right now to kind of get comfortable and use it. So I got one of our local Marines who's here has been training on it, you know, consistently, and riding only his gravel bike with the aero bars on the road and on the Croatan for, you know, 4 months leading up to this. So that's a different thing. I know Dylan uses them a lot, and he's had great success with it. He's got a great YouTube channel that has, you know, some good data on this and some video about it. And I mean, I will say, like, it's a gravel event. The Buck 50 does not have rules and regulations about what you can ride. You can ride anything. The only thing we have is we do have a single speed category. And so other than that, if you're not in the single speed category, you can run what you brung. There, 800 people out here using aero bars. I think everybody knows when to use them or not to use them. However, that's my rule of thumb, I guess. If you haven't already been training with it, don't slap them on there for the day.
Got it. So now I've seen some stuff on some social places with some kids folding up stoke boxes. What's going on with the stoke boxes?
Yeah, so I mean, when we started out with this event, for the first 2 years co-promoted it with Gordon, and one of the things that I said to him very early on when we were talking about like what to do is I said, well, hey, we can do whatever we want to do because we have nothing, we have nothing. So we can take every detail and just make it the best bike game ever. So that kind of became the mantra of how do you tackle any decision that you're going to make, from what does the course look like to what do you offer for the entry fee and whatever. And as a guy who owns a company that, pushes swag into the universe, it only made sense that we offer up some custom swag. And I've been to a lot of races where I've gotten a t-shirt that is just an embarrassment,
Thank you. And, yes. We are t-shirt snobs.
Yeah. I mean, t-shirts that are awful or some sort of bag filled with stuff that nobody wants. And so the first year, what we did is we encouraged the first 100 and I think it was 150 people to sign up that they were going to get a stoke box. And the first year we actually did legit ammo cans. So I took ammo cans. I won't say where they came from, but they arrived at my house. We did gloves with hand up, that I designed. We did special socks, we did special t-shirts, and then we made hats for finishers. And the first 2 years, the Buck 50 was color coordinated. Black was the Buck 50, silver or gray was the Buck, and red was the 100 or was the 50. So if you finish the race and you have a red hat, that person finished the 50. If you have a black hat, that person finished the Buck 50. So it was kind of a badge of honor. That was your finisher's prize, but everybody got those things. And all of that stuff is basically paid for, by the race. And so unlike, not compared to any other events, but what the stoke box has become is like, you basically, if you're doing the 50, you have an $85 entry fee. You're getting $120 worth of swag. And then you're getting free food, and free beer, and you're coming to do the event. And it is quite a good deal. If you're doing the Buck 50, it's the same level of swag, but the podium stuff that comes your way is fully legit. And I really felt like it's a bang for the buck proposition for what you're getting. That being said, that swag box, basically that stoke box is custom size. So, when you registered, we asked for your sizes on things. And this year we're going to have new colors. So there's 3 new colors. Green is for the Buck, like a burnt sienna is for the Buck 50, and like a cobalt blue is the 50. So your socks will be color coordinated. Your finishers hats are unique this year, and we're raising money for the Marine Raiders Foundation, which is a foundation that supports special operations Marines here in our area. And so we got a lot of themes going on this year that are tailored towards Marine support, and we're going to have guys from the Special Operations Command out here with vehicles and like a static display in the speedway. So after you're done, you can take a little bit like the salsa chase for the chase setup, but we're going to have some pretty cool things that you've never seen before, and some Marines to take pictures in front of right after you're done. So
that'd be fun.
We're looking forward to that. And then the other thing with the Stoke box is Cutaway helps me out a great deal with that too. Philip and I have partnered for years with design and working on things and collaborating. And so he did the bike plate numbers, and this year we're using bike plates that have the RFID chips on the back, so we don't have to wear the ankle bracelets anymore. And so we just got some cool things that are different and unique. And all that stuff's free and included with your entry. But we're doing that pickup on Friday at Ridge Supply, starting at 10 a.m. So it's 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And since everyone has pre-signed their waivers, we strongly encourage you to pick up yours and your buddies' boxes if you can on Friday to avoid lines and drama on Saturday morning. If you pick your box up on Friday, then on Saturday morning, all you have to do is show up and race. You don't have to come check in or do any, you can worry about hitting the porta potty and dialing your pressures in and going about your business. So the more people we can have come by the Ridge Supply on Friday and pick things up. Of course, you can shop. I'll have plenty of things available there. We'll have folks there all day long. And then we've also got a pre-ride starting at 10 o'clock from the Speedway. So Wahoo and Rodeo Labs are putting on a pre-ride, so you can test ride Rodeo Labs Trail Donkeys and Flanimals, and then you can also test ride Wahoo Roams there at 10 o'clock, and they're going to lead the first, basically out to the cornfield and back, is what they're going to do. So
that'll be a good chance for everybody to get their first eyeballs on Wolf Swamp, right?
Yeah. It may be one of those things you don't want to see, but I'm hoping for the best. And but yes,
what's the layout at the Speedway? I know team setups and things like neutral support. What's going on there?
Yeah, so people have never been here before. Joey's done the race, right?
No,
Joey,
no,
nobody's done the race. Okay,
nope.
Virgins.
Got it. So our Speedway is really, really unique because it is a short track NASCAR Speedway. So it's a minor league NASCAR Speedway, and most of those they're nice tracks, but this is probably the nicest one in the country as far as like the infrastructure that's there. And so it's kind of it's just a cool place to be. Obviously our race has nothing to do with NASCAR, but locally here, this place is jamming every weekend with races, and they've got a full, the full pit lane and a pit garage in the middle, and all the tractor trailers come in there, and it's legit. There's bars all around the thing. But the way we use it is we use the pit lane as the aid station and pit stop for the laps. So we start and finish on the start finish line, and we have the folks that are doing the timing there, and we'll have the neutral rollout that way. But when you come back into the Speedway, you come in through turn 1 and you pop out onto the track and you ride all the way around the track. And if you're finishing, you come across the finish line and you're done. If you have a second or third lap, you come into the Speedway to the pit lane, and we'll have the neutral aid station there. If you have a team tent, you can set your team tents up on the left side, all the way down pit lane. And if you have coolers and you want to do your own private pit, you put that along the wall on the right side. So, I mean, it's a quarter mile long, and you've got the whole area to use it. So what's what's cool is, our start finish tents there, our food's there, the beer's there, the Stoke bus is there, the marine static displays will be there, medical's there. It's all there. So
nice.
When you come in, you'll have everything you need to go back out for another lap.
Got it.
Or if you finished, that's where you come to hang out and eat and drink or podiums or whatever. So and get your finisher's hat.
I'm thinking about a solid 30 to 45 minutes in between laps, Joey. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
No, we're not doing that.
Yeah, my recommendation is to bring two big bottles. That will get you through the lap, and you don't even need to use the aid station that's out at Black Swamp.
Okay.
You can, and you certainly are welcome to, but with two bottles and some things in your pockets to eat, you can get through the lap without any help.
Okay.
What's nice about the aid station at Black Swamp is if for some reason it's late in the game and you need a cheeseburger, they'll probably have one, and you can, get a cheeseburger and a Coke or something and survive. But on the first lap, for it being 800 people rolling through there, honestly, you shouldn't be stopping.
Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah. You certainly can if you need something, but the goal is to have that that's like a bailout station.
Gotcha.
It's only 25 miles away, and it's going to take you an hour and 20 minutes to get there, and so you should be fine. When you get back and you're coming through, you're going to do a multiple lap. I strongly recommend, you're certainly welcome to use our neutral aid stations as well. But if you bring your own cooler and you have a second set of bottles and your stuff that you need and your lube or whatever, you just ride up to where you put your cooler, grab your stuff,
and go.
Do whatever you need and keep going. The thing about the aid stations that people underestimate is you can have ridden 15 miles back to the speedway with somebody, and you can go into that aid station and you guys can get separated and lost again, or somebody can drop you very easily and you'll never see them again. But it's also a tactical situation. You're not going to see people fly through the speedway aid station, but you will see people fly through the one out at Black Swamp. And it's so you having a strategy that works for you, for your nutrition, for your whatever. Of course, if you need to take a break, right?
Right.
I wouldn't dally if you don't have to. And it's a 1 mile stretch from the speedway back to the farm bypass on Hardball. It goes straight down there and goes straight into the farm bypass, and then you're back into the thick of it.
Okay. This has been a really good kind of breakdown of the course and about the layout for Friday and the layout of the pits and what's going on. I think it's going to be really helpful for folks. Any last words of advice for our listeners that are doing the race?
Well, I would just say if you're doing the race, thank you so much for signing up and coming to join us. It really is a special time of year. It's kind of kicking off the year, and I personally put a lot of energy and effort into this, and the reason being that I love this course, and this is where I ride every day, and I love just being able to share it with people. When we're going to have this many people come, and this sport is growing, I'm sure next year is probably be even bigger.
Wow.
The race is not gonna be won in the first 10 minutes, but it certainly could be lost if people are not respecting other people's space. Mm-hmm. And so self-seating in the beginning is really important. And knowing and being honest with yourself, like if you're up in the first 100 people, you don't have an excuse for it being, 400 watts right out the gate. You know what I mean? Like you have to be ready to dance. And if you're not, and you get back a little bit, once everybody gets into the Croatan is huge, and the race will sort itself out really quickly. You'll have space. You'll be fine. You'll be riding with people that are likability. And then it's a fun day. It's a really special place to ride because you're close to the beach, but you're literally like in the middle of nowhere by yourself. And there's something really cool about that.
It is really gorgeous. It is gorgeous. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think Joey and I are going to be fighting for position. We're going to try to get all the way to the back. Stay out of everybody's way.
To that end, don't start at the back, because I've seen people do that, and then they literally spend 2 hours riding through the field.
Okay.
You'll be surprised that this race, what's unique about it is it appeals to the fastest of the fast, all the way down to this is the very first time people have done a race of any sort. And so you'll see a large group of people in the way back that have no intention of literally getting near anyone else, right? So they're just trying to stay safe. And so plan accordingly for the
That's good advice.
The tail end of the race to be slower than you think.
Okay. And if you spend all your time trying to pick your way through people, that could suck time that you really could have used just to finish later on. So
yeah,
that's great advice.
It's not the end of the world, but I mean, I've just seen people underestimate their ability by being like, I'm just going to start in the back. And I'm like, you need to start in the middle, like you need to be in the middle and then hopefully work yourself into your groove. But if you start in the back, you're going to be around people that are slower.
Well, thanks, Matt.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
You know the drill. You know what we're getting ready to do. We're getting ready to have some fun with this or that, and I'm certainly hoping that you've got a few minutes to stick around for this or that. You in?
Sounds good.
Okay. I want to wrap up first our this or that poll from last week from episode 59. The question I threw out from last week was, would you rather have an old-time pirate ship with a full crew at your disposal or a jet plane with a pilot and unlimited fuel? Matt, what would you have answered to that? Jet plane or old-time pirate ship?
I think I'd rather have a plane.
Okay. I was wondering if maybe you would go pirate ship being down there on the coast. But I can see it. So
if you spend any time at sea, it's not a great life. So I would much rather be able to fly somewhere.
According to Kelly last week, it came with Muppets, so that actually kind of made it a little bit more intriguing. 42% people said pirate ship, and Wes, you were right. We were all dumb. 58% said jet plane. So
try to tell you,
the majority of people chose the Wes option and went with having a plane at their disposal. So our first question for this or that for this week, I'm going to toss it over to you, Matt. Then Joey, you get to chime in. Then I'll answer, and Wes will bring up the rear. You okay with that, Wes?
I'll work my way through the crowd.
Okay. Okay. The first one is a little homage to Croatan. Would you rather have hard-packed dirt roads with frequent muddy sections or dry, chunky gravel?
Ooh.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll take the muddy route any day.
That's what I figured we'd go there. Joey?
Yeah, the chunky gravel just sounds like flats all day.
Chunky gravel sounds horrible. That would just beat you up all day long. So I'm with you guys. Wes? Going to be a contrarian?
Yeah, because I always think about like the canal when you start out and you're like avoiding all the little holes all the time. And then finally, like halfway through the day, you're like, screw this. And you just start hitting it.
Yeah.
And you hit it and you hit it and you hit it. And it's just annoying. And you just want that flat. You need consistency.
Okay.
So I think the chunky gravel might be the consistency that I need.
Okay.
For a long day.
If you're on your Fargo, it would be perfect.
Be fine.
Yeah. Dial it down.
Just roll right over.
Okay. As usual, Wes is the contrarian oddball. Good job, Wes.
Contrarian.
You know. Next item on this or that. Would you rather be able to speak every human language or talk to animals?
Oh, definitely talk to animals.
Joey?
How cool would that be?
Right?
Yeah. I hate people, so I'd just rather talk to animals. I want to know what my dog's doing, or like
it would be so cool to talk.
Maybe
to
he'll talk back one day.
And you could talk to. I said talk to any animal, so it'd be like you could like go swimming and talk to a dolphin or a fish, or that would just be so freaking cool. Oh, no,
you're also assuming that they could talk back, but
yeah.
Oh,
that's what I was saying.
Curveball, so they could understand me, but I couldn't understand them. No, we're gonna go with
full on Dr. Doolittle.
Yeah, full on Dr. Doolittle. Full on Dr. Doolittle. Wes?
I don't know. Just observing animals, I think they're just freaking nuts. Like, Just like go see, like walk outside and you just hear screaming, just like squirrels running across the road. Like
you would never not be able to understand it.
There's a deer partly dead that you didn't know about before, and now it's just like, help. I don't want that. I'd rather talk to people.
Yeah, because you could tune them out. You could put like earplugs in and be like, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 3 on this or that, spreadsheets or just go ahead and do it. Thank you, Wes. I think that was yours.
That was not mine, actually.
I will say I really appreciate the spreadsheet. I do appreciate the fact that you took the time to come down and write it and put thought and energy into it, because if you're going to do anything worth doing, like, you should train for it and you should try to prepare as best you can, because ultimately once a race starts or the ride starts, like, none of that stuff really matters. But if it helped you get to the start line in better shape, then so I'd say spreadsheets.
Nice. Yes. Score. Joey?
Now I feel bad. to be fair, I rode the Holy Shelter last month. And that's as close as I got to Croatan.
Holly Shelter.
Why do I keep calling it the Holy Shelter?
I don't know.
I love how Brian was 2 miles from my house, didn't say anything, and Joey was 20 miles from my house and didn't say anything. But I appreciate that. And the next time you guys come back, you might should let me know you're here. So
it was Valentine's Day weekend, and
you still rode in the Croatan. I see
true.
people out there every weekend, and I'm like, where did you come from? And they're like, they drive like 5-6 hours to get here, and I'm like, I can't believe that it's turned into a thing. It's kind of funny.
I was so proud of my wife that weekend. She just gotten her brand new Diverge. It was her first real gravel ride, and we popped in. She did 30 miles back in there, including Savage Road and Wolf Swamp, and rode it all. So I was a pretty big deal for her. We spent all day in there.
Nice.
But it was cool. Go ahead, Jay.
Well, I'm gonna go with. You still got to prep. I just doing it.
Okay.
In a smart way, like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll admit it. It was overkill on my part to build a spreadsheet and to put variables in play. And actually, one of you guys had me convinced that I should actually include things like throw in weather, and it would be like it would slow your speeds on certain sections.
We're guesstimating your average time.
Well, I was really one of the things I was most concerned about.
You could look at Strava and see what the time is.
Yeah, that's what I did for a lot of them. But then it was like I didn't know the levels of those people that I was looking at on those segments, so it was like I don't know what I could do. So it was just I was obsessing, and I've had a little insomnia, and so it was a late night spreadsheet when
it's just normal.
But I would actually
excuse it.
I would actually say there's tremendous value in just going out and doing it. So
I feel like mentally you do all this work spreadsheet wise, and like I said, 2 miles in you rip your derailleur off.
Yeah, that kind of stuff could always happen. That could always happen. That would be hard to
That's a whole other spreadsheet.
Someone didn't mind their personal space, and now you're into bushes.
The bushes. Wes?
Well, before Wes says something, I would just say too, like the guys that I know that do this at the highest level, they do prepare that much. They just don't tell you about it, but they sweat the little details, and they dig as much gouge up as they can about what other people have done and tire pressures and all that stuff. They act like they just show up and ride, but they take it seriously too. So it's okay to, especially if you've never done something before, you want to prepare. I don't know about a spreadsheet though. I guess it's.
I've had. You don't even know the number of people that have been messaging me going, "Can you share the spreadsheet? Can you share the spreadsheet?" So I am actually going to put a link to the show.
His wife just keeps emailing him back over and over.
Put the spreadsheet away, please. No, I will put a link in the show notes, and I'm going to make that spreadsheet available for people to look at. So anybody
you should let Joey send his that just says "just send it."
Just send it. Yeah.
Okay, Wes.
I'm really glad that spreadsheet made you happy. I really am.
It did.
I think probably more important to you though was going down there and actually doing it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So I like the preparedness, but I think just going out and trying it, I think that's the way to do it.
Got it.
Okay. And then like Matt was saying, is it could rain 2 days before and everything that you just did, it's gone. Yeah. And it's just going to change.
and everything's different.
But I think if you at least have kind of an idea what you're up against, then you're way better prepared than going in blind.
So the last item on this or that for this week: eating food makes you drunk, or eating food makes you fall asleep. Whose was this?
Wes's.
Wes, this was yours, Wes?
Yeah.
Is there any explanation or clarifications that?
I don't know. I was just sitting here eating pizza and drinking a beer, and I was like, well, what if this made me sleepy?
So would you rather eat food to get drunk, or would you rather eat food to go to sleep? I have no idea how to answer this. Matt, you're up first, thank goodness.
I think I eat food to go to sleep. I think I already do that now. I'll get up in the middle of the night and eat something so I can go back to sleep.
Yeah.
That happens a lot with metabolism if you ride or something that day. So, yeah, I could see that.
Joey?
I mean, I eat my dinner tonight before the podcast, and I got real sleepy. I like feeling sleepy after you do something like
do you remember all of the conversation from this week? Do you remember the whole? Yeah. Okay, just checking. Have you had any Mucinex or beer?
No, if I would have had food last week,
you want to get high?
Between cough medicine and alcohol, that'd be great.
So what was your answer? Food
to make me go to sleep.
Oh, food to go to sleep. Yeah. Absolutely for me too. Positively.
Nice, like warm mashed potatoes.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Wes?
I think the food to get drunk would be really fun for like a week, and then it would get really old really quick.
You'd be like, damn it.
You know how awesome it'd be just like walking down the street, just like eating pizza. Hey, buddy.
Your work life would suck. Yeah. Or actually, it would be awesome. One of the two.
Who knows?
I'm not sure. Okay.
Why is Wes so much fun all the time?
All right, fellas. Hey, Matt, thank you so very much
for
joining us and for playing along for this and that and all that recap and recon. I think it's going to come in handy for a lot of folks.
Oh, that could be a section name, Recap and Recon.
Recap and Recon.
Little R&R.
And thanks for all the hard work and effort that you're putting into the best bike game ever, because it's going to be an amazing, amazing weekend. I have one last question before we let you go. The best place for dinner the night before?
Ooh, the night before. Where are you guys staying?
We're staying right in Swansboro.
Okay. I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but Bamboo House is really good.
Okay.
Burrito Shack is really good. Those are both in Swansboro.
Nice.
Olay has a great Mediterranean stuff, if you like that. I mean, all that stuff's got like rice and, that's kind of what I'm thinking is like a pre-race night meal. All three of those would be great recommendations.
Awesome.
In Swansboro.
Got it. All right, Matt, we're going to let you go, and we will see you in a couple of weeks, buddy.
Yep.
Yeah, sounds good. Appreciate it, guys.
Okay, man. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
See ya.
Anything else before we shut this down, boys?
We want to shut down your mirror on your truck, Brian.
Okie doke. No worries on that. Yeah.
By time.
I eat that food and I'm tired now.
What's coming up next week, Joey?
Next week, we have Phil from Haymarket Bicycle Studio. Phil is one of the only OG GRX ambassadors. So he's had a lot of time on it. He's a daily gravel rider. And he was hosting that Shimano Frostbite series.
Oh, I've seen that.
The three-part series. That happened. Unfortunately, it's over, and I'm off this Saturday, so I can't go. I was telling him today, I was like, oh, man, I'm off this Saturday. You want to throw another one together? But, yeah, he'll be on next week. He'll also be at Croatan.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Hopefully he'll listen to
and folks, don't forget
this episode.
That we're going to be at Packet Pickup in the afternoon. We're not going to be there all day. We'll probably be there for mid-afternoon, maybe 2 or 3 hours.
I want to go ride the Rodeo Flanimal.
So
that's my next target.
I think what we're going to do is we're going to set up to record some interviews. Just people want to stop by and say hello.
Hello.
Give themselves a shout out on the podcast. That would be awesome. Excited to talk to some folks. We'll put it on Instagram or something like that when we think we're going to know what times we're going to be there. Because you and I are going to be traveling down.
Yeah.
So cool.
Hopefully you'll have your right mirror.
Yeah, this gets fixed tomorrow.
Yep.
So, thanks for listening to this episode of Mid-Atlantic Gravel Travel and Dirt. This is a listener-supported podcast by some pretty incredible people on Patreon and PayPal. Our show can be found wherever you find your favorite podcast. Wes, how can people get in touch with us?
Get down to Swansboro.
Is that where it all starts?
Find a little internet cafe by the sea. Connect to their Wi-Fi.
Have a fish.
No, internet cafe does not have fish. But if you eat fish, then there's a great place across the street from the internet cafe. Anyway, get on the internet, graveltraveldirt.com is where it all starts. If you're into Instagram, well, first of all, you're going to delete it. Get Facebook, then delete that as well. Don't bother. We're going to skip that section today. Phone number is 410-231-3850. Joey, better luck next time. I nailed it. Remember, if you've got questions, hashtag AskGTD, and we will be sure to answer the one question over and over again every week.
That's right, because you can eliminate the old ones. Hey, this guy has the same question again. What's going on? Mid-Atlantic Gravel Travel and Dirt is recorded in Solomons, Maryland, live in Joey's kitchen. Thanks for riding along. Till next time, do good, be nice, go slow, respect others.
Isn't this usually where I keep going on a rant because I'm like intoxicated?
Yep.
The last 2 episodes?
Yep.
Let's get her started.
Joey, which bear is best?
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.